I really want to speak to the fact that I've had some challenges in the last couple of years myself. And ultimately, I believe that suffering leads to salvation. That we have to somehow accept, not deny, but feel our suffering and feel our losses. And then we make one of two decisions. We either decide to go through the gate of resentment, which leads to vengeance, which leads to self-harm, which leads to harm to others, or we go through the gate of forgiveness, which leads to grace.
I know it hurt. I know the pain was real, but you have been on what
and let him go.
I don't know whether they created it or I created it, but I felt the need to make them feel that their life was worthwhile, that they did something special just by the very fact that they brought me into the world. Yeah. So from a very young age, I wanted to convince them that I was a miracle. And then I wanted to convince the world that I was a miracle. And now I want to convince the world that I'm just like them.
So you went from convincing first you're a miracle and then that you are just like them.
Yes.
And how does that play out today in terms of convincing the world you are just like them, that you are?
Well, what I'm finding is an interesting thing, because I have a lot of people asking me, well, are you afraid that people won't accept you? And I know that in my life, and at least in my, the circle of people I know and know my friends that know my work, it seems like, and even people I talk to, like you, it seems like people are almost waiting for it. That they've suspected that there's another level to me, and they're kind of intrigued and interested in what that might be. It's that, and it's an addiction, obviously. I mean, I'd love
an addiction to just knowing yourself.
Yeah, an addiction to trying to figure out, and maybe this is an impossible task, but everybody's looking for bliss, in some way or another. And I think I've come to the realization lately that that bliss comes in waves, and everybody gets a certain amount of it.
Yeah.
But in between, it's just hard work being in this body.
And that it is the unwise person to expect bliss will be there all the time.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you look for it. You look for it, and you wonder why you're off the beam all the time, or whatever. So I'm constantly examining myself. I probably do it too much. I've always overthought everything.
I mean, you're reading Emerson, and you read.
Right. Which is like the big thing for me, in life right now is the excerpt from Compensation, the essay he did on compensation, where it talks about that man would see the mermaid's head but not the dragon's tail. Yeah. And this is something that happens over and over and over in my life, in relationships, in choices that I make professionally. A lot of times you just don't want to believe in the bad. But the bad is there, the negativity is there, or the obvious drawback to the situation is there, but you just go, I want. Yeah. And that comes down to the I will be done and everything biblical. It's I'm always struggling with these concepts. My desire is my only problem in this world.
Your desire?
Yes.
To do your appetite?
My appetite, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. To prove everything and to be everything.
But
it's our intention. Our intention is everything. Nothing happens on this planet without it. Not one single thing has ever been accomplished without intention. So I started thinking about my life, and I started thinking about this conference and what we're about, and I looked back and I thought, well, I was two people my whole life. I was in the living room entertaining people, being a monkey, you know, doing my thing for the company and trying to relieve my mother who was suffering. She had rheumatoid arthritis and phlebitis and everything under the sun that was nagging at her, and she was depressed. And I wanted her to be free. And I wanted her to realize that her life was worth something because she gave birth to someone who was worth something. And then I would go into my